Hello, dear viewers, and indeed a very important visit by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt. He was received by President Abdel al-Sisi. The two leaders held a joint press conference, and of course many memorandum of understanding were signed during the visit. To shed more light on the topic, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Rahman, our prominent journalist. Mr. Rahman, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. Hello to you. I'm even more delighted.
Thank you so much for joining us. A very important visit by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt, and very fruitful and important talks with President Abdel al-Sisi. How do you see this very important visit in light of all the developments taking place in the region and internationally?
Well, first, this visit paid by Mr. President Erdogan comes in a growing level of the relations between Egypt and Turkey. That represents the common interests between the two countries towards the escalations and the challenges that the whole territory is facing right now. And I believe that the close relations today between Egypt and Turkey represents a new vision, a common vision between the two countries towards what's happening in the region. And that's why we have today a meeting that gathers lots of opinions on one table, and I expect crucial decisions and important statements will be declared throughout that visit.
Yes, indeed. Sir, how the visit actually is coming in light of the development in the Gaza Strip and the opening of the Rafah border crossing for the personnel. How do you see here the developments on the ground regarding Gaza, and how the two leaders did discuss the interests of both Egypt and Turkey regarding this very important file of peace process in the Gaza Strip?
Well, first, the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian file, including the deal of Sharm el-Sheikh that was assigned by Egypt and other countries, the U.S. countries and other countries were attending that important event. It was welcomed by the Turkish leadership. And we share the same interests and the same, almost the same point of view towards the Palestinian case, which we are agreeing on the return of all the refugees to the Arabic occupied land, and preceding the deal, the Sharm el-Sheikh deal, peacefully for the benefit of the Arab nation and the whole world, as well as other files like what's going on in Sudan, what's going on in other places, that we are together, Egypt and Turkey, share the same interests towards what's going on in those hot spots on the map, especially that such actions taken in Sudan and other places represent a very important and dangerous threat to our own national security and regional security.
Sir, of course, many developments, as we have been mentioning, are taking place on the ground, like the developments also in Sudan. And how do you see the stance of both Egypt and Turkey regarding their insistence on protecting the institutions in Sudan, the unity of Sudan and its integrity, as well as, of course, the Sudanese sovereignty?
Well, that's a very important that you have mentioned this kindly. Of course, Sudan gathers the same point of view between Egypt and Turkey. Together, we refuse any interference in Sudan's lands. We are together standing, supporting the legitimate Sudanese army against terroristic militia that is called Rapid Support, and against any interference and those regimes or powers that are behind the terroristic actions taking place by that militia. And of course, we are standing strong behind the concept of uniting Sudan as one nation, as one country, as it was been for more than 70 or 100 years now. This is a start for the unity and for the peaceful vision that a true leader should seek and comprehend and see it through all the way to the end.
Yes. Actually, the two leaders signed a joint declaration after holding the second high-level strategic council's meeting between the two countries in Cairo. How do you see these agreements and the strategic agreement and this declaration which was announced between Egypt and Turkey?
Well, in this world, the language of economy comes first, and upon this that base, we have a growing level of economical ties with the Turkish side, and of course there are lots of welcoming arms both in Turkey and in Egypt between the companies and businessmen, and too many cooperations were signed, cooperation agreements were signed before, and of course to be Egypt and Turkey to be strategically partners, that would be wonderful for the economy, for the two people, for the two nations, and of course for the two states.
Yes. Also, sir, the two leaders are participating in the Egyptian-Turkish Business Forum in their closing session. How do you see the importance of such a forum for both Egypt and Turkey?
Well, that forum represents the common vision that is we have witnessed throughout the past few years in a twist of events and twist of actions that we have witnessed the past few years. Today we have a strong relations with Turkey, and we are opening arms for more countries to be partners in the same field, in the same concept, with the same concept, for the very best to our own economy in Egypt and the Turkish economy and the people here and there.
Mr. Rahman, of course, many other files were tackled between the two leaders, which are of great interest for both nations, of course, on top of which is the development in the American-Iranian relations and the threats, of course, from the United States to Iran. How do you see the concerns of both Egypt and Turkey regarding the file of Iran?
They are both agreed that no threat should be implemented against Iran. Iran as a free state and an independent state, and we are against any violations, not just against Iran, but against any country in the region. The region is already suffering enough. Whether the Zionist attacks against the Palestinians or against other countries, as well as the chaotic scene in Libya and in Sudan and in Yemen. We are against any aggression against Iran, and of course we are demanding for the peaceful negotiation, the peaceful solutions and resolutions that can end the vicious circle of violence in the region.
Yes. With Egypt and Turkey supporting the federal government of Somalia, how does this actually coordinate the contribution to strengthen the Somalis' unity and stability, of course, which is a common stance for both Egypt and Turkey regarding the Somali file?
Well, this is another example how the Turkish-Egyptian and the Egyptian-Turkish diplomacy are taking the same side and the same situation. We are standing strongly and firmly with the unity and the independence of all of Somalia Republic, and against any recognition with a false state that is trying to be cut from the illegitimate and the country with all of the sovereignty from Somalia. Somalia is a very important spot to our own national security and international and, of course, continental security. And, of course, any threat to Somalia is a threat to the continental interest and the regional interest and of course, to both Egypt and Turkey.
So, actually, Turkey has broad relation in the Horn of Africa. How can Ankara support Egypt's vision for regional stability and cooperation with the Nile Basin states?
We are together are really seeking a prosperity and peaceful solution for each and every file in the region. We are totally agreeing on no more violence or no more chaotic scenes should be created in the region. We are against any violations in Libya, in Gaza Strip, in Sudan, in Somalia, in the Gulf, in Iran, whether in the Arabic East or the Middle East. So I believe this almost common vision and united vision between the two countries can do a lot more and can execute more on the ground, not just by statements, but on the ground we can do together, stopping any more aggressions, stopping any more violence in the region.
Yes. Analysts are speaking, sir, about growing coordination among Egypt, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. How does this cooperation enhance the regional security, especially in strategic waterways like Bab el-Mandab?
Well, this is a very important point that you have kindly mentioned. Today we are up again at this threat, this unit threat by establishing air and military bases close to Bab el-Mandab by Israel, and this is a direct threat to our own national security and the whole continental security. And I believe that Turkey is behind Egypt in that matter, as well as Saudi Arabia is taking the same stand with Egypt against that matter. So I believe that such unit threat or foreign threat or any military bases from that represent foreign greed and colonization in this hot place on the map could be stopped or at least confronted with throughout such triple diplomacy by Egypt, Turkey and Saudi Arabia.
Yes, indeed. How can, and before our next question, sir, we are seeing now on the screen the start of the Egyptian-Turkish Business Forum, which is taking place at the moment in Cairo, with the participation of business community and financial and economic institutions from the two countries, Egypt and Turkey, of course. Sir, how can this close coordination between Cairo and Ankara help to reduce the regional tensions and encourage dialogue among the different African conflicts as well?
Well, this file has two faces, economic and political. Yeah. And of course, economically, we have this common ground and a strong ground to build upon. We're not just creating the opportunity. The opportunities are already there, only to grab it and to enlarge the scale of the cooperation. And we have already common ties and strong ties between the Turkish market and the Egyptian market in the field of industries, exports and imports. I believe the Turkish partner is an idealistic symbol of cooperation with other countries in the region, as well as the common efforts to stop any aggression against the national security and international security in the continent or in the Middle East.
Yes. Back to our Egyptian-Turkish cooperation in the field of economy and trade, and in light of the current forum which is taking place at the moment in Cairo, how do you see the level of cooperation and the memos of understanding that were signed actually today during the attendance of both leaders, and what do we expect in the coming phase regarding the cooperation between the two countries?
Well, of course, it's an opening gate for each and every personnel in Egypt and in Turkey to have a chance in this progress. This new gate opened for businessmen, economical companies, whether the private sector or the governmental sector, side by side. This is the important thing here is to go on together, work together, whether in Egypt or in Turkey.
Indeed. The level of trade cooperation and exchange of trade between both countries, do we expect to see a rise in the amount of trade exchange between Cairo and Ankara?
Well, of course, we have high levels of cooperation and trade, and whether importing or exporting, and we are really behind any effort that can raise the level of cooperation, because it's for the very benefit, the very important benefit for the people, especially that Turkey has that level of economy and that level of industry that are very sufficient and very compatible with the Egyptian market and the Egyptian factories and the Egyptian businessmen.
Yes. Sir, how significant, and back to the Gaza file, how significant is President Erdogan's current visit important in order to cooperate between Egypt and Turkey regarding a very important file, which is the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip?
Well, this is a very important file. Today, of course, we are behind rebuilding Gaza Strip as it was before seeking this target whatsoever. And we should remember today that Egypt, in a matter of 3 or 4 years before, was just about to start its own project to develop Gaza Strip and to rebuild it before the war. And suddenly the war came up to end or to stop those efforts. Today, Egypt is doing its best with all the partners, the legitimate partners in the region, including Turkey, to rebuild Gaza Strip, to regain life and save what's left of lives in Gaza Strip, to preserve its own national security. As we know, this place is a very important spot for our own strategic borders, eastern strategic borders. Peaceful solution should be thoroughly taking place on the ground with, of course, cooperation with countries like Turkey, and we are welcoming any effort to rebuild Gaza Strip without any hidden agendas, just to rebuild Gaza Strip for their own people, the Palestinian people.
Yes. So what and how did you see rather the outcome of the second meeting of the high-level Strategic Cooperation Council that took place today between President Sisi and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan?
This is a very important step, and of course continuing the effort throughout the peace process in the region. And I believe that Turkey, with its own heavyweight influence, can help Egypt and any other country in the region that is really seeking peaceful solution for this conflict. And I believe that whatsoever, this conflict can never be ended without the total withdrawal from the Israeli troops from the Arabic occupied lands or lands under siege today, like Gaza Strip.
Yes. Sir, how does the Board of Peace aim to coordinate the transition from ceasefire to full reconstruction in the Gaza Strip, and how do you see the agreements between both Egypt and Turkey regarding this issue?
Well, that agreement has too many phases.
And we apologize, Mr. Abdel Rahman. No, please go on.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I believe that that agreement can represent the same vision of the two countries toward those files, whether economically, whether to rebuild Gaza Strip, or whether to restore peace in the region, or to develop economy, whether in Egypt or in Turkey, and welcoming hand for other countries to take part. Why not Saudi Arabia? Why not any other country in the region, in the Gulf countries? I believe this is a very positive light and a green light for countries around us to gather around that unity of vision as an example for seeking stability and prosperity for the nations of the region.
Indeed. Sir, how does the actually Board of Peace aims to coordinate further with the participation of many countries in order not only to follow up on the ceasefire, but also to coordinate for the reconstruction of the Strip, which was heavily destroyed during the genocide war?
Well, this board, its first mission is to stop Israel from proceeding its violence and aggression against the people in Gaza Strip today or yesterday, and the day before. We have witnessed new assaults with no reason. There is a peace agreement signed already, and we don't have a clue why Israel has decided just out of the blue to start bombing and shelling and killing more Palestinian citizens, as we have received reports that there are no more heavy weapons owned by Hamas or any organizations in Gaza Strip. I believe altogether the resistance, the true resistance in the Palestinian territories, as well as the peaceful efforts given by Egypt and counter administrations from the region or from abroad, can work together to apply this agreement, or decide it's not going to be working for the Israeli aggression. It's a moment of truth, and we should face this truth. Today we should force Israel to stop its aggression against Gaza Strip, or to cancel the deal. I don't see it any other way.
Yes. Finally, sir, how crucial actually is the international support beyond Egypt and Turkey for the success of the reconstruction plan?
Well, of course, we have the same vision, and we are our own companies, our own patriotic, and our national and international companies are ready to take part. There are lots of common interests between the Turkish companies and the Egyptian companies, whether from the private sector or the governmental sector. They can work together, and together I see that even as an example, just as an example, Egypt and Turkey together, they can restore Gaza Strip way of life in a matter of months, only if the truth have the chance.
Yes. Mr. Amr Abdel Rahman, our journalist, thank you so much for your very important input and insight. It was a real pleasure, and our special coverage for the current visit by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt is continuing on Nile TV International.